Games like Doom, Borderlands, Halo and Rogue Warrior, wait a minute, throw players into high-stakes firefights with bullets, rockets and lasers flying in every direction. They're far from subtle, putting action above everything else to keep things perpetually moving forward. Or, if you Duke Nukem Forever, putting actual poo that you can actually pick up and actually throw. Video games really do appeal to the male fantasy. But what if we slowed the firefight down a bit and seamlessly integrated dim lighting, jump scares, dark and macabre themes, and a few grotesque monsters for good luck? Then we'd be teetering into first-person shooter horror games, a unique genre that's both action-packed and full of frights. I'm Daryl for Cultured Vultures, and though it's not a massive genre, we will be digging into the slim library to spotlight the best FPS horror games you'll want to load into your hard drive. The part exciting, part terrifying, and entirely entertaining. Slap like and smash subscribe, and we will have a word with someone at Valve about Left 4 Dead 3. What's that? Restraining order? Bound by law? I don't think that's right. 10. DUSK. If you're going to emulate anything in the 21st century, early 90s first-person shooters tend to work the best. DUSK developer David Szymanski opted for this aesthetic with his throwback to classics like Doom, Heretic and Quake. Across 3 campaign episodes, players take on hordes of baddies, including cultists and inhuman entities, set to a metal soundtrack composed by David Hulshult. What DUSK does quite a bit better than the games it's emulating is provide players with an expansive arsenal. Swords, rifles, double-barreled shotguns, grenades and so much more can be wielded to take down the supernatural threats. Expect plenty of bloodshed in this high-energy horror shooter, and also expect your bloodlust to rise. 9. Painkiller. It's a shame Painkiller was ultimately killed with the release of 2012's Hell and Damnation, a poorly received remake and sequel to the 2004 FPS, as the original is just about everything we want out of a fast and frantic first-person horror shooter. The gothic setting is simply perfect for Daniel Garner's trek across purgatory, and it leaves us intrigued for the franchise's return. We still can't quite get over how they announced it though. Here, let's just put the clip in.
I'm really excited to have this little last edition, which is that Saber and Prime Matter are working together on a new game in the Painkiller franchise.
All right, very cool.
And who said marketing had to be hard? When a car crash kills both him and his wife, the latter gets admitted to heaven. Painkiller's Daniel must do whatever is necessary to join her. And that means taking on Lucifer's generals to prevent a war from breaking out between heaven and hell. Equipped with a demon-slaying arsenal, including the delightfully fun stake gun, Daniel mows through the forces of hell, leaving in his wake a trail of demon bodies. Painkiller was built on the Havoc 2.0 physics engine, which was a marvel for its time and allowed for ragdoll physics and interactive environments. 8. The Evil Within 2. Sebastian Castellanos thought his nightmare was over at the conclusion of The Evil Within, but his deep dive into the human psyche was just beginning. Unfortunately for the tired cop, things are only going to get worse in The Evil Within 2. Originally released as a third-person horror, The Evil Within 2 was updated with first-person capabilities, which really amps things up and turns it into one of the best FPS horror games going. Though much of the game is linear, Castellanos can explore a more open environment, which only means he has more of a chance of crossing the ghoulies and malformations, slowing his progress this go-round. There's much to fear in The Evil Within 2, but the ghost-like anima is absolutely the worst, and her melodic singing is sure to stick with you long after you've signed off. Speaking of signing, how about you sign our petition to get The Evil Within 3 made? Please, we need it. 7. DAYZ. Can you survive a zombie apocalypse? DAYZ is a decent test in determining how long into the outbreak until you become food for the undead, or about how long you can tolerate running across wide open fields while you slowly dehydrate to death. Survival and horror come together as you navigate a world overrun by rotting corpses and other survivors with black hearts. Expect to feel alone in the world as you run from mobile corpses and do everything in your power to protect your stockpile from other players. Your best bet is to make friends, but knowing who to trust and who's going to turn you into zombie bait is no easy feat. You'll never feel comfortable or safe even within a larger group, and there are a few things scarier than feeling isolated in a world where resources are scarce. Fun. Kind of. For some people. Not on console though. Look, it's a very specific kind of fun. 6. BIOSHOCK. Welcome to Rapture, where all of your dreams will come true. That is, if your dreams involve permanently disfiguring yourself, getting addicted to a chemical substance, and being constantly at odds with genetically enhanced individuals that have been grafted to armoured diving suits. BIOSHOCK succeeds in creating an uncomfortable atmosphere in the underwater city through the demented splicers and ruins of a society that collapsed in on itself. Knowing a Big Daddy is just around the corner or seeing the shadows of splicers blocking your path will keep you on the edge of your seat. And you will stay on that edge from the moment your plane crashes to an unwelcome visit to the dentist all the way up to the shocking twist ending. That the real Rapture was the friends we made along the way. Ah, Splice is nice. 5. Hunt Showdown. With a rifle in hand and pistol at your side, Hunt Showdown sends players into the nightmarish landscape full of horrifying ghoulies. Bring them down, secure your prize, and enjoy the glory of being a renowned hunter. But of course, it's not that easy. Not only are your bounties capable of fighting back with force, but you're also not the only hunter looking to take the loot. As if battling zombie-like townsfolk and lumbering malformations wasn't enough, you're also in direct competition with human players in a unique multiplayer experience. Hunt will test your patience and skills as you gather clues to find your bounties and engage them in difficult and epic battles. Hunt this down if you don't hate spiders, or dudes who are on fire, or witches, or humanity, or your mum. 4. Doom 64. Players typically say Doom 3 is the only real horror experience in the Doom franchise. The rest is just fast-paced chaos with no real tension or scare factor, and to that we say, you clearly haven't played Doom 64. While not scary in the traditional sense, Doom 64 certainly isn't the same shooter 90s kids grew up playing and defending against ridiculous controversy. The tone has changed quite a bit, and the demon design was given an overhaul to really make you question walking into that room full of pinky demons. Though they say that you can never beat the original, Doom 64 absolutely comes close by changing the formula just a little while blending elements from Doom and Doom 2 and keeping many of the core mechanics the same. 3. F.E.A.R. To many, F.E.A.R. was the game that launched the FPS horror genre. While that's not true, it doesn't take away from how good the game actually is. F.E.A.R. has it all. Assortments of high-powered weapons, creepy long-haired girls with telekinetic powers, and a surprising number of jump scares for a game that really emphasizes exchanging bullets with your enemies. The threat isn't all supernatural, as you'll take on a paramilitary force hell-bent on taking over an aerospace compound. There is no typical mission for the soldiers of F.E.A.R. as something sinister lurks in the shadows, waiting to tear people apart without even having to touch them. F.E.A.R. was a surprisingly good mix of horror and first-person shooting, and while its sequels didn't quite capture the same scares, they're still both worth checking out. Would you like to see a new F.E.A.R. game? Let us know. 2. Resident Evil 7. Capcom turned the Resident Evil series on its head when it introduced Ethan Winters and sent him to the swamplands of Louisiana in the series' shift to first-person horror. Resident Evil 7 is anything but action-packed for the most part, though there are some segments where you'll be slinging lead to take down hideous mutations. It is, however, undeniably horrifying as you go up against the mold and a demented, tortuous family. Audio design is at its peak as Capcom breathes the fright back into the Resident Evil series. Though Resident Evil 7 feels like a big departure from the rest of the series, the changes are more than welcome and helped refresh what was becoming a tired concept. Also, you lose more limbs than an octopus on a carousel made of knives, and if that isn't the most horrific image your mind will conjure this week, we don't know what is. And at number 1, Left 4 Dead 2. You'll be hard pressed to find a best of horror gaming list that doesn't include Left 4 Dead 2, as the longevity and timelessness of the experience really earns it the title of the best horror FPS game. It's quite telling that it's comfortably beating Back 4 Blood in the Steam charts. Valve released the follow-up to Turtle Rock's first-person multiplayer zombie shooter in 2009, and the experience is still fun today. Outside of its outdated visuals, the rest of the game has held up very well and continues to deliver thrilling runs whether you're playing alone or with friends. It's safe to say Left 4 Dead 2 has sustained over time thanks in part to mods, but the core experience still works, sometimes better than modern and more technically sound titles. We may never see Left 4 Dead 3, but that's okay. Replaying Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't get old. It's a shame the same can't be said about Back 4 Blood, a game so bland that it's hard to even hate because kind of giving it that energy is more than it's worth. What a waste. And there you have it, that is our list of the best FPS horror games. Did you agree with this list? Did you disagree? Is there anything you felt that we missed out? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell to catch all coming content to the channel. And for the full written version of this article, check out culturedvultures.com. Between all of that, we will catch you in the next one, but until then, caw.